Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today, I'm going to be doing the 101 Days of Summer tag, and this is an original tag created by my friend Duane at The Reading Room. I was tagged by Duane, and this is a tag that basically celebrates the tropes of summer. So I'm going to answer all of his prompts and tag a bunch of people, and hopefully we can spread some summer joy around. The first question, barbecue time. Pick a favorite author. They are inviting you to a barbecue to announce their newest work. What do you hope they are announcing? And what are you bringing to share? I decided that I would have loved to have been anywhere where Toni Morrison was. She has long been one of my favorite authors. The book that I chose to feature is what I think may have been the last book that she published. There were several books published in her final year, but I think some were published after she passed away. This one came out before she died. This is a collection of her nonfiction, The Source of Self-Regard. And it's a collection of essays and speeches and meditations. This was published in 2019, and she died later that year. I would have loved to have been anywhere where she was when she was presenting this book. Now, if I were to bring something to a barbecue, I wish that I could bring my mother's famous macaroni salad. My mother brought her salads to every barbecue and every family event, and people used to request that she bring her potato salad and her macaroni salad, and no one knows how to make it. She gave everyone the recipe. Everyone has a copy of it written down, but nobody's macaroni salad tastes like my mother's. So, we think she probably didn't include all of the ingredients. That's very possible. When I turned 50 some years ago, my department threw a surprise birthday party for me, and the woman from my department, a dear friend who was hosting the party at her home, she made my mother's macaroni salad, and it was the closest I've ever tasted to my mother's recipe. No one else has come close. So if I could, if Toni Morrison could be hosting a barbecue and talking about her last book, and if I could have been there, I would love to bring an authentic version of my mother's macaroni salad. Okay, number 2, road trip. Pick a real-world setting from a recent or not so recent read. Where would that road trip take you? Well, I'm actually reading right now the quintessential American road trip novel, and that is John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath. And this is a road trip from an Oklahoma farm to California. So that's what I'm reading right now. So that's on my mind. That seems to be the best example of a road trip I could think of. Though that was, that was a road trip filled with hardship and heartache. Number 3, camping. Do you rough it, say tent and a sleeping bag, or do you require amenities? And will you read more than usual? So at this point in my life, no, I don't think I'm going to be doing any outside camping anymore. Yes, I absolutely love and appreciate the amenities. So, I'm staying indoors, I'm staying in hotels, and absolutely I am going to be doing more reading. Okay, number 4, Festivals. You're attending a Booktube festival where dressing as one of your favorite literary characters is the only requirement. Who do you go dressed as and why? Okay, I am going to this Booktube festival, which is a festival in celebration of Jane Austen. And I guess I would go as Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. And why? Because this summer we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth. That seems like a great occasion for a Booktube festival. Okay, number 5, slice of life. What is something others may consider simple or mundane, but is something that you can't see a summer without? I love to go to a local farm in my town. It's an institution in the town where I live. I don't know how long it's been here. It's been here forever, and certainly, much, much longer than I've been alive. And it is definitely a ritual of summer and has been for a very long time to go there and to buy fresh corn at the local farm. Okay, number 6, scary story. Which author would you invite to go camping with you? Now, that's assuming I would go camping. Knowing you would want to hear the scariest story they can tell around the campfire. Well, okay, we're going camping, but I'm staying in the local hotel. But when we're hanging around the campfire, I would like to have Shirley Jackson there. I just read for Horror Mayhem, We Have Always Lived in the Castle. This was a wonderful buddy read with my friend Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic. Shirley Jackson tells a mean horror story, and I would love to be sitting around a fire with her. And then I would politely excuse myself and go back to my hotel. Okay. Number 7, first love, summer crush. A romantic interest during the summer months often leads to a bittersweet ending or a lasting impact. Which do you prefer to read? And how does the age of the characters affect this opinion? I don't tend to read romance novels. It's just a genre that I'm just not familiar with. I wouldn't really know what to talk about there, but I absolutely love it when a romance occurs, or some kind of a love story occurs as a natural development, a natural part of the narrative, within the novel. I'm not particularly concerned about the age of the characters, though certainly as I age, I am, kind of hyper aware of books that have characters that are a little bit more mature. I mean, that tends to be my preference, I think, at this point. The choice, are we looking for a bittersweet ending or a lasting impact? I guess a lasting impact. I mean, the book that I thought of, and no one would call this a romance, but it certainly does have a strong love story in it, and I like to think that it ends with the love having a lasting impact. That's Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. Okay. Number 8, nostalgia. What book or books instill in you an overwhelming sense of summer nostalgia? They don't necessarily have to take place during the summer, but they should provide a strong attachment to summer somehow. I thought of a couple of books that make me think of summer. Part of the story takes place in summer in a couple of these cases. And one of them I just associate with the summer because I have a vivid memory of the summer when I first read it. One book that always makes me think of summer is Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. And a good part of this book does take place during summer, but it also moves through the year and it takes place in all of the seasons. But when I think about this book, I always think about summer. And I think that might be because of this. This is from the beginning of the novel. When I was almost 6, and Jem was nearly 10, our summertime boundaries within calling distance of Calpurnia were Mrs. Henry Lafayette Dubos's house 2 doors to the north of us and the Radley place 3 doors to the south. We were never tempted to break them. The Radley place was inhabited by an unknown entity, the mere description of whom was enough to make us behave for days on end. Mrs. Dubose was plain hell. That was the summer Dill came to us. Early one morning, as we were beginning our day's plan in the backyard, Jem and I heard something next door in Miss Rachel Haverford's collard patch. We went to the wire fence to see if there was a puppy Miss Rachel's rat terrier was expecting. Instead, we found someone sitting, looking at us. Sitting down, he wasn't much higher than the collards. We stared at him until he spoke. Hey yourself, said Jem pleasantly. I'm Charles Baker Harris, he said. I can read. So what? I said. I just thought you'd like to know. I can read. You got anything needs readin', I can do it. How old are you? Asked Jem. 4 1/2? Going on 7. Shoot, no wonder then, said Jem, jerking his thumb at me. Scout yonder's been reading ever since she was born, and she ain't even started to school yet. You look right puny for going on 7. I'm little, but I'm old, he said. And that begins this incredible friendship between Dill Harris and Jem and Scout Finch. And even though the novel moves through several seasons and several summers actually, I always think of summer because of the way this novel begins and the way this friendship is formed. And then a couple others that I thought of. My introduction to S.E. Hinton was with reading That Was Then, This Is Now. And I just have a very vivid memory of discovering this book on my oldest brother's bookshelf and reading it one summer and just not being able to put it down. And I can remember where I was. I can remember what was going on in my life. And it's just a book that I associate with summer. And then one of my newer discoveries and great loves in the past couple years, I've been reading a great deal of Ray Bradbury. And in particular, the book that makes me think of summer is Dandelion Wine. And I think that's just because of the opening. It was a quiet morning, the town covered over with darkness and at ease in bed. Summer gathered in the weather. The wind had the proper touch. The breathing of the world was long and warm and slow. You had only to rise, lean from your window, and know that this indeed was the first real time of freedom and living. This was the first morning of summer. Okay, number 9, summer stories. What is a book or books that you would recommend where the summertime is the primary focus? Well, I definitely would recommend Bradbury's Dandelion Wine and To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. There certainly is a lot of summer in those books, but the one that I'm thinking of is a book that I really want to promote right now. This was a book that was written by a former student of mine. This is Amy B. Muka's brand new middle grade book, Geo's Fortune. And she sent me this copy about a month before her publication day, which was May 27th. And this is a book that takes place largely during a summertime when the main character, Geo, is trying to raise a lot of money in a short period of time so that she can help her mother and hopefully prevent her mother and prevent them from having to move. It's a wonderful, wonderful middle grade novel, and I'm kind of new to that age group in terms of the fiction that I read. I just adored this book, and and I'm not just saying this because Amy was my student another lifetime ago. She was my student a long time ago. It's really delightful, and if you read middle grade books, or if you have middle grade kids in your life and you recommend books for them, I would recommend Amy's Geo's Fortune. Okay, don't forget to tag your Booktube friends. Well, if you're watching this and you'd like to get into the summer spirit here, please consider yourself tagged. And as I always do, I'm going to tag a bunch of people in the notes below. This is a perfect time for us to be thinking about summer, and I'd love to help Duane spread this delightful tag. So I'm going to tag a bunch of people in the notes below. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.